Okay. Let's add this to my journal. This was at 10:01 on the 1 minute. It's not sidebar. Oh, I already took notes. Whoops. Yeah, I probably would have gone for like 3R. I don't know. Then the next trade I took on Friday was just what was gonna be garbage. I already know. Honestly, journaling is my least favorite part of trading. It's so boring. Then I got break evened out. What was the other trade I took on Friday?
Place trades with simple order management tools. Access over 40 built-in indicators plus custom.
Oh. Bro, I was just being. Well, there actually might have been a trade that was like this. Related to actually, this is gonna be an interesting one to journal. Actually, no, this is gonna be a fascinating one to journal. So what I was trying to do, right? If you can't tell, on this trade from last Friday, was, well, I knew that we rebalanced to these equal lows, meaning this is gonna be a gap, right? So I actually look at this and actually it kind of makes some sense. Right? Because it's like, 4-hour implied fair value gap here. This actually does make a little bit of sense. More sense than the other one. But because it was a low time frame trade, which means that it was basically it was probably fair game to like somewhat expect a low time frame move off of this. So I would go like this, 4-hour implied gap like this, with these relatively equal lows. Like, this is actually going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting, actually. So we have a 4-hour implied gap. You can see the market's actually kind of using that, right? So, boom. My version of implied gaps. Oh, yeah, this is going to be... Okay, this is actually going to be a really good learning experience. So, high time frame has no internal sweep into this, first of all. So that's the first thing I'm going to note. This one is an interesting one because it was a low time frame scalp, which makes it more reasonable in the sense of targeting low time frame liquidity back to the upside. Still probably not a good trade, not the greatest trade, but an interesting one to learn from. I am going to review it in detail. First of all, High time frame still had no real internal sweep, so it was important to keep that in mind. Okay, right, so then 4-hour gap, daily relative equal lows. Drop down to a lower time frame here. I'm gonna have to run it back quite a ways. Oh, I hope that it's gonna let me look at it. Yeah, so this is very, very interesting. The trade I wanted actually could have played out in a interesting way, because we have a 30-second OB and a 30-second PB, right? So this trade actually somewhat reasonably had some merit to it, right? So you can see there's a 30-second OB. We can put a gradient on that, and we see we tap the midpoint, getting internal manipulation. Mean threshold perfectly hit. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a very interesting trade. Mean threshold, there you go, gets perfectly hit, inducing these relatively equal lows, right? I'll take a look at your opens as well, because I'm not gonna discredit this idea, because I was looking for something like this and it did play out, just not where I wanted it to. Okay, second of all, I took this trade, although pretty bad, did in an interesting way have some merit to it, because we did take those daily relatively equal lows. So after at least a tiny bit of internal manipulation into a low time frame propulsion block, it was reasonable to take a micro scalp to buy side liquidity, which did play out, but not as I thought, but not in the way that I took it. Right, so what I'm looking at, right, is a 30-second OB, perfectly tapped mean threshold here. Inducing this low. And then, off of this, I really hope we can look at the low time frame. If we can't, maybe we have SB Pro so we can go look at the low time frame, because I want to see this on the low time frame. And unfortunately, I actually don't think it's going to let us see it, which is kind of disappointing. Right, so here's the inducement. So here's external. Let's also pop a gradient on this. So This gets very interesting very fast. Look at this, right? When you pop a gradient on this, what do you see? The 0.25 gets used. The 0.5 gets used. And the 0.75 gets used. But it's used on the other side of the curve here. So then what is this? It's a propulsion block, right? It's a propulsion block. Yeah, here's a propulsion block. The 0.25 of the higher time frame implied gap gets used. Right? So if we put a gradient on this. Man, I really would like to get an even better TradingView subscription, because then I could probably go back more on the low time frame, which might be helpful. Alright. So look at how we use the 0.25. So external sweep, internal sweep, OB, PB. There's the propulsion block move. This is the move within 1 second that I'm looking for on the low time frame if I was to take this trade. So this was the propulsion block that I was looking for when I took this third trade. Whoop. Ah. This was the true because very interesting, right? This was March 27th, right? On the third trade, this was the true propulsion block I was looking for. So we'll see if we can get a low time frame view of this on the 15-second. I really have no idea if it's gonna let us go back that far, but we'll see. It might. Nope. It does not, in fact, let us go back that far. Well, we can look at the low time frame on my live stream. So
Filled.
So no internal sweep at all.
Whoa.
No internal sweep at all. Time and price were not aligned. The real trade I took, there was no internal manipulation at all. Time and price were not aligned. But interestingly, I'm looking at a low time frame 30-second propulsion block after my trade where time and price were aligned and we had an internal sweep, and I'm sure there was a low time frame 15-second or 5-second or 30-second trade off of it. So bad trade, but a extremely high level trader likely could have capitalized on this idea. So I will give it push trade disapproval, and I will, yeah. I was taking it as an outside bar. No, I was taking it as Dynamis. And I tried to line the...
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
Guys.
Trying to line a 1 minute PB with 15-second outside bar. Well, what time was this at? Yeah, it looks like I was looking at this one. I was looking at this one, but there's no real internal manipulation yet. So... Anyway, yeah, so this propulsion block I tried using was this one, right? And this one, not really exactly the propulsion block that I was supposed to use. And then I went for a low time from change and stayed up here. I mean, I could see what I was going off of here, but it's just not, it's not good enough yet. It might have been, was I aligning the 30-second with the 15-second? I think I was. So probably like 10:07:30 or something like that. "30-second propulsion block, basically aligned with the 15-second. I tried this live and I got cooked. Okay. It's probably gonna go for like 2.5R. And then Let's add this in. And yes, I'm gonna journal every single trade I take because it's literally the only way to get better. I know even these trades are a lot of like, you know, me being upset about not being in the right emotional state to take the best decision, but still, I'm gonna journal them, right? Okay, next one on Monday. What did I take on Monday? Alright. So we're gonna go to Monday now.
Snap your W-2
Unfortunately, this is really boring.
and
but
file your taxes 100% free.
I'm gonna
Plus,
slowly
get your
journal
biggest
this.
refund.
I have to journal all these.
All right, here we go.
I think I went into the day pretty fast. Took a loss. I had this was a crazy sad day because I had the exact idea. Was crazy sad because I had the exact right idea. Then we got an outside bar to the upside. I immediately invalidated my initial idea, tried longs, then got cooked precisely according to the exact idea I had already laid out. Literally so sad. It's important to be adaptable for sure, but I need to remember just because we get that outside bar at market open aggressively in one direction doesn't mean that the market will for sure actually follow through with the outside bar. It depends on AMD and the true draw on liquidity. With that in mind, I shouldn't have been so quick to second guess my idea on the outside bar close. Should have kept it as a possibility. That the idea would still play out even with the outside bar close aggressively to the upside, and then once it does start to play out back down, I can execute my initial plan. With conviction, fading the outside bar close, because I know the true AMD and draw on liquidity because I did my pre-market analysis. Anyway, lesson here is just because there is an outside bar on market open doesn't mean to take it. it needs to fit the narrative and AMD that makes sense from your pre-market analysis. If it doesn't, just chill out and watch and see. If it fails, then if it does, trade it the other way, right? Hopefully that made sense. So what happened on Monday? Well, Monday we had an outside bar to the upside on market open, and I was really quick to really alter my initial plan, which was, I wanted to take longs. I wanted to take shorts. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, let's really go in depth on Monday here and really take a look at this. So, right, my initial idea was this. So this was an outside bar. My initial idea was that honestly we were likely to trade up into this wick. Honestly, I should have put a gradient on this wick. And then I'm wondering, we probably reject 0.625. Yeah, so we reject 0.625 of this wick really nicely. Right. And then my initial idea was I saw this as accumulation, and then we were likely to reverse down to these lows. There were low resistance lows here. And then London lows. And then eventually Asia lows, right? And so basically, all of this is just a big consolidation during London. There's London lows. I kind of saw this all as low resistance, and that we were going to run down to go run this, right? Did I not take notes? Oh, I took notes, but it was on the wrong day. Hold on. Okay. So it's unfortunate because I really want to look at the trade that I intended to take, but I'm needing to backtest the trade that I did take. The trade I intended to take was, right, we have a inefficiency here. I mean, we actually get Cantina kill shot to the downside. Ironically, it is so ironic. It's so ironic because we actually get Cantina kill shot, but to the downside that actually works. And why is that? Because the real AMD was to the downside. And I should have kept my initial conviction and not changed it. It's hard though. But I need to remember, just because there is a low time frame outside bar with a good close, if there's not really a good drawn liquidity to support it and good AMD, prepare for it to fail, then trade against the low time frame one. Possibly even with a higher time frame outside bar. LOL. Okay. Anyway, I've journaled this trade. I journaled it on Monday. Right? Basically, wait, this is March. Wrong month. Wait, no, right month. It's supposed to be this day. Wait. Oh, I don't have it journaled. What the? Dang, bro. Okay, wait. No, we need to journal the good trade. We need to journal the good one. So the good one was this 5-minute gap. Wow, and then look at the outside bar off of the 0.625. Wow. I wonder if this is a 15-minute gap actually. Yeah, of course. Of course it is. This is what I meant to use. And it's efficiently delivered too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, you can see exactly why this failed. You can see exactly why. Makes perfect sense. So the trade I took, by the way, I'm gonna just, if anyone's watching, I just want to point out the trade I took, right? I took the 1-minute outside bar, or the 2-minute, I think, which happened to occur at market open. If you guys don't know, if you have an outside bar at market open, it's called Cantina Kill Shot, and a lot of time this can be nice. Right? Boom, boom. However, just because it's got that signature, right? It's got good signature, doesn't mean that this is the true drawn liquidity. I like the data high, but doesn't mean it's a true drawn liquidity. The true drawn liquidity was these low resistance lows and then London lows. And, well, I'm entering in a serious premium. Yeah. Just because there is a really nice low time frame outside bar with good signature and good sweep and good close doesn't make the trade valid, and at market open doesn't make the trade valid itself. It's important to really understand the context, AMD, draw on liquidity, and high time frame idea. And as well, if you're entering a trade in a significant premium relative to most of the consolidation, it is significantly high risk, and you need to be careful, right? So we gotta journal this trade first because this is the fun trade, right? Look at the data wick. Look at the look at the data wick. Look at the way we use this 15-minute reclaimed gap. Why is it reclaimed? Because we've already used it here. So there's a couple different ways to take this. I mean, then also we want to make sure we mark out the volume balance at the bottom because, you know, it could end up being interesting. All right, so we end up pushing perfectly into this data wick 0.625, efficiently filling this gap. If we go down to a 30-second or 15-second, this gets really fun because, yeah, you can clearly see how the market does efficiently fill this. It's like literally like X-ray vision. Like, this is crazy. It's crazy because I think that's like literally the exact same price level. So the true AMD occurs to the downside. We have a 30-second outside bar to the downside, and also there's a 30-second change in state as well. I love this 30-second outside bar to the downside. I mean, if it couldn't be clear that this is the AMD, you get this. Brilliant trade. Once again, if I TP with stop loss, look at the potential of TPing with stop loss. Look at the potential. I mean, oh my gosh. It just gets me excited. Like, this is crazy. Like, just keep going. No matter how much you fail, just keep going. Literally just keep going, because look at what happens when you finally don't mess up, right? Big win here. Big win. And then what happens, right? Efficient delivery of this 15-minute gap, aligning with this 30-second outside bar. Then what happens? Then we run all the way down to London lows. Most likely we hit however many projections. I will admit, you maybe get break even there. Probably just try and take this with conviction, honestly. Hold this, go break even when we retake this low. That's where I would go break even. When we retake the same low here, I would not go break even yet until we break this same low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 projections. London. Boom. All this. Low resistant. Where do we go? Statistical manipulation of the session. Crazy what's possible. Once again, probably just, start trailing aggressively past 4R, and you can see that would serve you pretty well, right? To trail pretty aggressively past 4R. It'd serve you very well. So this was my initial idea. Had I stuck to it, obviously, would have played out a lot better than whatever I took. So I would consider this flow state aligning a 15-minute reclaimed gap with a 30-second outside bar. That's fine. Obviously, I would TP with stop loss here, but this is just to simplify the trade, so it's all in one picture. You could go break even there. You might have got break even, but you might not have. It just kind of depends. I don't really know if you would or not. So this was on Monday. I don't have a folder for Monday. So this was 3:30. 26 Monday. This is flow state aligning 9:32 or aligning 15-minute reclaimed gap with a 30-second outside bar. That was the trade I should have taken. Now I could have gone on the 15-second as well, and there's a 15-second change in state. Hopefully it lets us go back that far. If not, then we'll just ignore it. Okay. Right, there's a 15-second change in state, basically the same exact spot, same exact trade, basically, just entering as a change in state instead. It's the exact same trade, but just with a change in state. All this is void, right? So I think when you see these instant voids like this, sometimes you should think that they might get filled pretty quickly. In this case, it did. So running the same trade. This is the same exact trade, just different entry model, but same idea. 9:32:45 flow state, aligning a 15-minute reclaimed gap with a 15-second CSD. Obviously, TP with stop loss, as I've said many times, right? I mean, at least take half or at least take partial, right? Take partial and then keep the rest to go. This is a trade you would take with 2 cons. At least I would. Okay, back to the trade I took. This is not the fun part. Right, so we basically have a 5-minute gap here. Yeah, this part's not very fun at all. And then yeah, there's an instant outside bar at market open. Actually, so this was Cantina kill shot, not not just regular outside bar. Okay. So what am I looking at? Well, I don't really see that 15-minute gap. I'm looking at this 5-minute gap. And well, I see this violent close lower, or violent sweep lower, and then closure higher. So I'm thinking, data high, Cantina kill shot, right? This seems nice. And then I can trill when we hit the data high. Just thinking, you think, oh, okay, this is somewhat safe because, well, it's a pretty big outside bar, so like, are we really gonna come all the way back down? Unfortunately, what's happening? I'm entering on a close on the 2-minute above equal highs into CE of the rejection block within a premium. All right, so I'm gonna start making some notes here. So this trade looks nice, but it closes into CE of the rejection block in premium relative to most of the price action, and closes equal highs, meaning it had the possibility, and took equal highs right after market open, meaning it honestly had a pretty good chance to start AMD back down, which it did. Okay. So 5-minute for value gap, data high, outside bar, right, boom, boom. I'm not even gonna lie, I think I took this on the retest too. So I take this on the retest, and well, yeah, I got cooked. It's okay though, it's okay. Yep, close above equal highs into CE of this wick. Or closes into equal highs above into CE of the data wick. 9:32. Cantina kill shot. 5 minute aligned with the 2 minute. This was live. Okay. I might just take a break from this. It's taking a long time. I don't know. I need to get this done. So yeah, okay, this one's interesting. Would I give this post trade approval from the knowledge I had? You know, it had good signature, good close. In the moment, I think it was somewhat reasonable, because there's really, really good signature, really, really good close, with data high above. But would I give a post trade approval? I mean, I did everything. I tried to do everything I thought to do. So I would give it post trade approval, but I would never take that again, ever. So it's probably gonna be like 1.5 R. And this was 9:32. Yeah, 9:32 on the 2 minute. Man, I'm falling behind with this. Okay, what happened on Tuesday? Let's go to Tuesday. Did I journal it yet or no? I did not. Let's go look at Tuesday. Yeah, this day wasn't this day high resistant? Yeah, it's tricky because it looks bullish because the triple equal. I mean, looks like we could come to the triple equal lows. We come to the data high. Or did I know the market was bullish? Maybe going to lower time frame will spark my memory. Did I try shorting here? Okay, I don't know what I took. Let's go watch. Let's go watch. I want to finish my journaling.
You don't need to have a big production budget to bring your vision to life. The world of AI is only
went top down, looked at everything. Oh, I was bearish. That's right. Because I saw triple equal lows. Well, I saw a lot of things. My bias was wrong on this day. And that was an issue. So I'm just going to take some notes on that. My bias was wrong on this day, which actually made it pretty hard to take a good trade because my bias was completely wrong. The low resistance lows I wanted were not low resistance, but were actually high resistant. So I'm going to try and figure out why Tuesday was so bullish. So bullish. Right? Because obviously we knew this weekly gap was... Wow, look at the 2 week. 2 week gap was just beautiful. I didn't even see that. Obviously we knew the weekly gap was used here. And I wonder, so this is the start of the new week. I wonder how this new week opening gap played a role. And if it did, how did it? Right? Because this is something I didn't even look at. I mean, daily volume balance. But I maybe should have, because I think it might have played a role in this, actually. I actually think it did. Let's check. Now this is interesting. Hey, what up, Sahil? How's it going? Good to see you. So, okay. Using this weekly volume balance. So this thing doesn't get filled, but I would argue that we do kind of use it. We probably tap the midpoint of it a lot. I think I should have had my eye on this. Are you alone or live on Discord? I am just backtesting my trades from this past week. I'm not live on Discord. So here's the weekly volume balance that I probably should have been paying attention to, but I wasn't. You drop down to a lower time frame chart. Yeah, honestly, I probably should have paid attention to this because, well, is it obvious that it's bullish just looking at this weekly volume balance? I don't know. I mean, look looks like, yeah, it looks like the market's digging into the midpoint of it quite a bit. And then we retest the high. Okay, wait, that's not even when the market went up. The market went up here. Okay, so this doesn't really help. You know, maybe why is... It was high resistant. It was high resistant. It was definitely high resistant. And we had a 1 hour and 4 hour outside bar to the upside, delivering from the weekly gap. And high time frame was in discount. So it did make sense to be bullish and expect the low time frame to be high resistant. What trade did I take? I want to figure this out. What did I take? I tried shorting.
I'm Paul Baum, CEO at Planet ROI. We refurbish and
Yeah, this was a hard day. This was a hard day. Because unless you're bullish, you're really just offside here. What other clues were there to be bullish? There must be other things here. There must be, because this is just not obvious to me at all to be bullish. I mean, we're probably digging back into these wicks here. Maybe. Might be more obvious to use this wick on the 4 hour. Okay. Yeah, we were probably using this wick. Yeah, I think that really gives a clue. Right? The 4 hour wick really does help a lot here. So, okay. The 4 hour wick. What is this? 4 hour. So I'll just say 4 hour wick. I mean, it's 4 hour, isn't it like 4 hour discount wick? Or whatever. I'm just gonna call it 4-hour wick. Put a gradient on this. Because a 4-hour wick like this is really an order block, right? You see us bouncing off these levels back up to the upside. So within this, you could frame a model, right? But once, I would expect this to be a 4-hour wick for a bullish PD array. Because I expect us to come back, fill it, and then efficiently go back up. Four-hour wick here, efficiently rebalanced. You up down to a 5-minute. Beautiful delivery on this. That's incredible. My guess is we had SMT with this low, with market open low. Yeah, we totally did. I mean, for sure with this low. Now this doesn't occur until 11. I'm supposed to be journaling my trades right now. So yeah, 4-hour wick, which is essentially like a future OB. Gets efficiently delivered. So that's post 11 a.m. That's not even pre 11 a.m. So this is only helpful for 11 a.m. and 12 a.m. which is a future OB. Actually, no, it's not a future OB. It is an OB. Right? Because this is after 10 a.m. when that candle closes. This ain't the future. This is a valid OB. We closed above the body. We got change in state. This wick is now an OB. This ain't future OB. This is an OB. It gets validated at 10 a.m. F4 wick efficiently delivered. Back to what was the trade I took? I was looking at this inversion. I wanted shorts. We had a bearish S&T at the top of the gap. Once again, I'm still trying to figure this out because this really ain't super straightforward. But I know that there's some reason why we went higher here. I mean, we might want to take a look at SB Pro. Is it going to let us go back that far? March 31st. Oh, here it is. Triple equal lows. Okay, so I'm looking at it. I'm looking at SB Pro. Honestly, there's really not a ton of market selling into these lows. But okay, that's not that helpful. I mean, did we have bullish S&T here? Like, if these were equal lows. The more I look at this, the more tricky this is. I guess we have bullish S&T. Once again, though, that's going to 11 a.m., not 10 a.m. Massive S&T with YM. That is a big reason why. But it's not super showing. It's not. The S&T right here. That's a garbage S&T. I don't like that. Okay, fine. So it's obviously high resistant. Main thing is the 1 hour outside bar and the 4 hour outside bar. And then displacement above an old high. Yeah, the main thing is it's a 1 hour 2022 model is what it is. It's hard to go against that. The main reason why my bias was wrong was and also Classic Expansion Week efficiently manipulated True Week Open and the weekly FB implied for buy gap, and we had a 1 hour 2022 model off of it as well. 1 hour and 4 hour outside bars. Okay. Anyway, we get the point. It was high resistant. I was wrong. It was high resistant to the upside, not high resistant to the downside. So yeah, the trade I took was this. So time to figure out if this trade was any good. Honestly, I might be done after this. Because it kind of looked like AMD to the downside. So yeah, 1 hour external fair value gap. Was expecting this to be high resistant all through here, and for us to basically efficiently fill the top of it and then reject it. Once again, it made sense to me, and we even had SMTs, lots of them. So I'm looking at this. I'm seeing this 1 hour gap. I'm seeing external liquidity swept, internal liquidity swept. And then I see this inversion. Honestly, could have taken that inversion on its own. But I looked for even higher, lower time frame confirmation. Look at how the IFEG, the 1 hour inversion for value gap, gets reclaimed. That's kind of cool. But yeah, this inverses, then it stays high resistant. This was so hard because the 1 hour inversed, but then the 5-minute inversed off the 1 hour external gap, but then the 5-minute stayed high resistant, but then the low time frame stayed high resistant, which made it so hard. Anyway, should have been maybe more open-minded to the low time frame being high resistant. Oh well. So true opens get manipulated like this. Whoops. Midnight is souped at 8:20 with SMT, isn't it? Now that, I think that is the biggest clue. One of the biggest clues. Was there SMT though? I don't think there was. Oh my gosh. I'm getting a headache. I might do this. I might finish this later. I gotta go. Yeah, all true opens were manipulated to the downside, I guess. Made sense for us to stay high resistant, I guess. Well, the nice thing is, right, we were in premium relative to all the true opens, and we efficiently filled this 1 hour gap, and then we inversed this. I mean, I really tried my best on this one. I think it was pretty reasonable. Yeah. But the liquidity stayed high resistant. Unfortunate. Yeah, man, I tried my best with this one. I really did. I think this one was actually pretty good. As much as I want to hate on it, I really don't have a ton to hate on besides line time and price. The 1 hour got efficiently manipulated. My bias was bearish. I took the trade in line with my bias. Could have been more of an obvious liquidity run, but that's about it. could have been more careful with the fact that these true opens were souped the way that they were. That's one thing I will say. Seeing these true opens souped like that kind of makes it hard to justify being bearish. That's the one. I think that's the one thing I'll say to make it so I would not take this again. So look at how they soup to the downside. And we're honestly trying to get through a BPR. I mean, I actually, yeah, I'll give it post trade approval, but I would not take this again. It's just you're trying to get through a BPR here, and true opens were getting souped. $9.14. Flow state, 5 minute. Line with the 30-second. Live. Okay. I will give this post trade approval, but not take again. I need to be more careful of low time frame, high resistant liquidity, and which direction the low time frame is having high resistant liquidity, so I can get on side with the market. As well, true opens, higher time frame true opens kept getting souped to the downside. Okay, gonna put this in here, and then yeah, I'm gonna be done. But it was nicely above true opens. It was filled the gaps, so it's all good. It is all good. Five minute, 30-second. 9:14. Okay, I'm gonna be done with this for now. I gotta go. I'll see you guys.